Hey everyone, you're here with Mark on Perfect Gardens TV. So today we got a great request from Invisible Man 1776. Please do one on grow dots, brother. Okay, so this comes from the video Recharge. Is it really worth it? And also, just to have a complete open transparency, is my opinion biased? Because we've developed our own product called BAM, Badass Microbes. I would say my opinion is not biased because the reason why we created BAM was because we were in search of a better product, that we were finding inconsistent. Like when you think of the name Perfect Gardens, that's what we are shooting for every grow that we participate in or that we consult with, or every piece of advice I recommend. I am pulling the information and experience from not just one personal grow. I'm pulling information from, at this point now, I don't know, I'd probably say we're in the thousands of grows at this point right now. And I've probably passed over 5 to 7 million cannabis plants that I have personally participated or consulted in growing in the last 10 years. So when I give you my opinions like assholes, everyone has one. I really do my best to explain the problem and also recommend the highest superior product. And some of those products are going to be my products, not my products personally, but Perfect Gardens products. I'm going to push those products, right? Is because we are in search constantly for perfect gardens. So let's go ahead and get into this video, making a video about grow dots, because I'm going to be recommending our own products through this process to help fix this product. In the first few seconds, I already saw a number of things that aren't in line with my personal values. But I'll be straight with you. Would I sell you this product? Yeah, of course I'll sell you this product. I'm a businessman, right? But would I recommend to not use it? Probably, because there's better products. But if you were adamant to use it, then I would recommend a product called Drops of Balance to help fix the environmental issues that this product is causing, right? So you're not just causing an environmental problem. I'm also helping you solve the problem that you're creating while you're growing your plants, and making sure that the heavy metals and plastics that get water solubilized through the breakdown of this slow release fertilizer doesn't go into your plant, and now you're smoking plastics at the end of your grow. Because I promise you, that shit is not going to taste right. Okay. So yeah, like Mark, you just said all this shit. What are you talking about? Well, first thing, I'm going to break it down on a couple real quick things. This product uses urea nitrogen. If it uses urea nitrogen, I'm going to recommend that you definitely want to give it additional calcium. The reason why is urea forces plants to grow quickly. I've seen when using urea specifically, the plants grow so quickly that they become frail and they break easy, especially in the wind. They're going to need a lot of support. So to help solve this problem, I would recommend using, at this point, not just a dry calcium supplemental product, but to actually use a liquid calcium magnesium. When using urea, you want to use liquid nutrients because you want to get the nutrients into the plant at the speed at what these chemicals are forcing these plants to grow, right? And when they grow quickly, their cellular structure is elongated. And when it's elongated, it doesn't have as much cellular structure as if it was dense and compact, right? So first thing is, I see a problem with this is that they're using urea nitrogen, and when you look at the calcium, it only has 1% calcium. So I see that as being an issue. So I would recommend using supplemental CalMag, liquid CalMag with this product. Then when you go through the rest of the stuff, you're like, oh, okay, it looks like it. Look at all this good shit, right? But then when you come down here to what it's actually derived from, this is where I start to see the main issue, right? When you look closely, it talks about polymer, 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 EBTA, EBTA, polymer, 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 sodium. First, polymers, just to explain what those are, and Google it for yourself, okay? I highly recommend to do so. Polymers are plastic resin, or they're sulfur-based polymers. I don't know which one they use in their product. If it's a sulfur base, it's probably going to be a little better environmentally wise. But if it's a plastic resin, then this entire product is plastic, right? And as it breaks down, it becomes water soluble. And they have recent studies in the last 10 years come out where when plastic is introduced to fish environments, like over 80% of the fish become hermaphrodited. So when I ask myself, do I want to smoke a product that has plastics and get plastics into my system, where cannabis is a known bioaccumulator. And so what does bioaccumulation mean? Well, bioaccumulation means that they're going to pull up all the heavy metals, all the toxins, all the crap out of the water better than other plants, because all plants bioaccumulate, but this is one of the best bioaccumulators. So if I'm growing this plant, I don't want to grow in dirty soil, because this plant is going to clean that dirty soil, and then I'm going to smoke that medicine. That's why I recommend to use drops of balance. And initially, when you use drops of balance, I recommend to treat your soil one time prior to growing. And if you're already growing, still do it one time at a rate of 5 mL per gallon. That is going to lock up all of the heavy metals in your soil, and it's going to turn these heavy metals, these plastics, these VOCs or volatile organic compounds, and it's going to make them in a form where they're water soluble into a form where they're no longer water soluble. They're going to bind to one of the minerals in drops of balance, and they're going to pull them out of water solubility. They're never going to get taken up into the plant. And we proved this in the 2023 $30,000 field study report, showing a much lower reduction, undetectable levels of heavy metals versus the other plants. When you look at this, and then you look at the next couple key points right here, and this just comes off of Google. So these polymers used in fertilizer are often made from synthetic polymers. And it gives a couple examples of different polymers. And then it says, research increasingly focuses on development of biodegradable and environmentally friendly polymers, options like cellulose or modified starches, to address concerns about plastic accumulation in the environment. Okay, so exactly what I said, they're saying right here on some of these key points. So I have to ask myself, what type of polymers are they using? Because the majority of this bag is polymers. Then you guys all know what I think about EDTA, right? Those have been known to be super carcinogenic and cancerous products. And then they're using 2 different chemicals that have sodium in there. What the it's like sodium is an antagonist. It's going to make everything else not work as well. I'm surprised the product has even done as well as it does. This is a product I would definitely be using drops balance, and treat your soil at a rate of 5 mL. And then every time you water, use drops balance at a rate of 1 mL per gallon. And then you definitely want to use BAM. BAM says bad microbes at a rate of 15 mL per gallon after it's been fermented, because you want to lock up all the heavy metals and all the plastics and make sure they never become water solubilized. And then you're also going to want to create bacterias that help break down these polymers to access these nutrients, so that the drops balance then also converts a lot of these chemicals back to sulfated minerals, so that when the plant takes them up, it's the highest quality nutrients. If you're interested in the product, let me know. I'll sell it to you. I also would highly recommend the other 2 products, Drops Balance, BAM, with it, because they're going to solve the problems that this product is producing. If I said anything incorrectly with this product, I do recommend that the company comes on the channel with me and explains to me where I'm wrong on it, right? Because this is what I do. I get a product, I turn it around, and I read where it's derived from. And then I go over to Google, and I Google it, and I do some research, and I compare it to my own opinion, right? Like, after I read it, I'm like, I don't know if I really agree with this. And as I read the polymer, I'm like, well, it's a polymer. Polymer, I'm pretty sure that's normally a synthetic plastic. And I go over and Google it, and then it says the exact conclusion is what I'm thinking in my brain. So if I'm wrong, I tell these companies, hit me up, come onto the channel, explain to me where I'm wrong, show me the scientific analysis, right? Like Drops of Balance, for example. Drops of Balance, this one page right here on the safety and testing is $80,000 as testing proving the efficacy of the product, right? If you come over here and go over to About Us, Safety and Testing, right here, this is the 2023 $30,000 field study report. If you come and click any one of these badges, it shows over 250 contaminants, proving that Drops Balance changes the chemical back to sulfated minerals. It makes them to undetectable levels. The MSDS sheets, right? This one page is $80,000 of scientific testing proving the efficacy of this product. Well, I tell these companies, show me that. The companies I'm associated with create standards in this industry. I want to hold other companies to those same standards. Our family's been part of Big Ag 5 decades. We've created a shitload of problems. I don't want to be on that side of the coin. I want to be on the side of the coin that course corrects the problems that we've created as a family. It makes things better. I know this might sound stupid. I know that, other people probably said the same thing, but I genuinely want to hand something valuable, something that's rich and fertile to my daughter and to my future children. I don't want to give them something that's desolate and absent of life and riddled with problems. I want to make things better. And the people I'm associated with, the people that subscribe to this channel, I'm pretty sure you guys feel like that as well. Because I don't have the largest channel for cannabis talk. I talk about a variety of other different subjects. But the people that do subscribe, I think we have common values in one way or another. Do I recommend this product? No. It's not in line with my values. There's a lot of questions around what it's derived from. And, I think it's open to further discussion, whether it's creating environmental issues in our grow rooms. Thanks so much. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.